This segment paid for by Davis of Freeze Realtors.
It's time for Happy Tappe Home Tips
I'm so happy about this.
with Luke Tappe of Davis and Freeze Realtors
I'm so happy.
on 97.9 Kick FM.
All right, Luke, it is Monday. Time for some Happy Tappe Home Tips. Luke Tappe from Davis of Freeze Realtors. How are you on this
Good
Monday?
morning, Sam. Good, I'm good. How are you?
Good. You've been busy. I know I follow you on Facebook and social
Yeah.
media. You've been busy.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, it's kind of
You're
been
running.
crazy. Yeah, running crazy.
You know, today is kind of one of those subjects because the last couple of years you've seen it, houses go on the market and then they sell within 24 to 48 hours. They are going fairly quick.
Yes.
So you want to kind of remind buyers and sellers for that matter too, moving with a house to sell and kind of that process of make sure you know where you're going because your house is going to sell pretty quick.
Yeah, your house is going to sell quick, and we just want to make sure, that we're setting you up for success. And there's a couple of different ways that you can, you can do it. If you've got a house to sell first, there's, and we've talked about this before, but there is such thing as a bridge loan. And that's bridging the gap between, where you're going and your current home. It's basically called intermediate financing. It's the bank's way of saying, hey, we will, if your income qualifies, we will lend you the money on the new home. We'll take both of the homes as equity against our investment. And once your old home sells, then we'll put you into a normal, 30 or 15-year program that, a conventional program that you want to be in. But in between that is just bridging that gap with that bridge loan. That's almost, if you can swing it, it's almost the best way to do it. All you have to do is, like I said, your income has to, be eligible. That way, the bank's going to make sure that they don't overstretch, you. But and you only pay interest-only payments on the new one until the old one sells.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're paying that full payment, but interest is a big portion of your payment. So they just have to make sure that your income. But that way, you can go ahead and move. Mm-hmm. You've got your bridge loan, then you can get the old house kind of ready to go. That option there, if my buyers can qualify for a bridge loan, that's the way I suggest to do it. Not all buyers can qualify though. So the next option for those, that are like, hey, Luke, we want to move, but we're not eligible for a bridge loan. Our income's, is just too tight. And that's completely fine. The way that I suggest to do that is don't wait until that perfect house pops up to then call me, put my office, under the gun. We can do it, but probably not as fast as that house is going to sell, like you said. You're like, that listing that you fell in love with, 5 other buyers are going to fall in love with it as well. And if a seller's looking at 4 or 5 offers and, 2 of them don't have a house to sell and maybe 2 of them do, they're going to probably go with one that doesn't just because that's the quickest way to the finish line for that seller, which makes sense. So I always say, if it's a seller of mine that wants to buy, let's set you up for success. Like, let's go ahead and get your home listed. Let's make it contingent on you finding something. And that way we can go ahead and lock you down a buyer. And then once you find yours, you can tell that seller, hey, it is contingent on my house closing, but I've already got a contract. I've already got a buyer. They're ready to go. We've already done inspections.
Yeah.
It just makes a seller look at it differently then.
Sure, and that's what we were. We were under contingent with our old house selling. It kind of just worked out perfect.
Yeah.
We got an offer on our house that night. We looked at 5
that
or 6.
That offer was from me.
It was from you. We looked at 5 or 6 houses. We found one, and it was just kind of like all the dominoes fell in place, so it worked out.
Yeah.
But sometimes, it just depends on the situation. If you're available for a gap loan or a contingent loan, and that's where you and your team and your expertise come in because you can guide your clients through the entire process.
Yeah. The thing is, Sam, is like with my people, my biggest thing is let me really set you up for success.
Right.
I hate getting those phone calls and just looking at the buyer's face going, man, why can't we do this?
Right.
But, it's not that we can't. We can write an offer contingent on your selling, but we're going to have to give that seller some pretty serious, like, hey, we're going to list our house within 2 days. We hope to get an offer within, maybe a week. Can you give us 10 days to get, kind of our affairs
Ducks
in
in a
order.
row.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
And so just give me a call and I can kind of, walk you through that situation. The main thing is just going to be calling your lender really and seeing if you are,
approved for a gap loan. A gap
right,
loan.
for a bridge loan.
A bridge loan.
Yeah, and just seeing if that's an option. If not, we'll handle it a completely different way. But in the end, I just want to make sure everybody is just set up for success.
There are options
There
for
are
everyone.
options.
So don't let it stop you from selling your house and finding a house. There are options.
For sure. We'll get you set up.
Luke, to start this process, to give you and your team a call, how do they do it?
Give us a call, 217-223-9700. Visit us on our brand new website, davisandfreeze.com.
All right, Luke, we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you, Sam.